Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. I'm going to be practicing extra stage. I'm doing a no miss no bomb attempt on Shmuptember this upcoming weekend, so I need to practice stage, practice my commentary. I'm going to sort of just go through it as I would. So if I'm saying the same things, don't mind that. Do I not have the others unlocked on this, or did I not click? Okay. Anyway, we will be playing with Zemoo A. Each of these shot types has a different ability and option. So Zemoo A has the ability to warp the screen, so if you're on the left side and you double tap without shooting, you'll just warp to the right side. That's just like the most useful movement tech of all the characters, and also her attack is one of the most damaging attacks, so it's just kind of the best shot type. Hey Alistair, thanks for the luck. So during the marathon I will mention there's some lingo that Touhou players use. For those of you who don't know, the boss patterns are called spell cards if they have a name, and non-cards if they don't. So I might say oh, I captured this spell card, that means I beat it without dying or bombing. Or I beat this non-spell, it's just beat I captured the non-spell. Just a little, I need to tighten up that wording, but just mentioning it now because I'll just say those words later, and you don't know what it means, you don't know. Alright, so let's get on to the extra stage. So this is the extra stage. For those of you who don't know, extra stage is sort of Touhou's version of a second loop. Most shmups have the true last boss kind of thing, and you unlock it by beating the game, and then you play the game again, but it's harder. In Touhou, you just get a whole extra stage instead of having to play through the game again, and you start right from this stage. You don't have to play a 25-minute game to get an attempt at this. You just go right into it. This is sort of a new player trap. If you move a bunch, these bullets will spread around, but if you stay still, they're very manageable. This is one of my favorite sections of the stage. These enemies come down, and you just have to know where they are coming to kill them fast enough, but your power increases when you kill them and collect their drops, so it speeds up how quickly you can kill them. So early on you're trying to make sure to get a bunch of damage in, but later on sometimes I unfocus just to not kill them faster, that way I get a little bit more graze. Here we're at the mid-boss, Sanai. There's a safe spot in the middle. The grid of lasers is just the same every time. And then these bullets come down, and you just kind of dodge them while keeping in mind where the safe spot is and going back to it. And there's one spot where you have to dodge, really. The rest of it's just sort of going into and out of that safe spot. At the bottom of the screen there's the word enemy that shows me where the boss is. I am trying to follow her because I do a ton of damage if I can stay in line with her. This is Bumper Crop, the first sort of reset point. As so, I'll explain more of that when I get to it again. But I put a little extra time in my estimate to have a mulligan or two before that point, because that's sort of the first tough spot where I sort of expect to die. These enemies, if you get close enough to them, they spawn their bullets around you. If I go to the side here to kill these enemies as they come in. I try to make sure to collect their drops. If you graze enough bullets, you become the point of collection and you get all the drops at full value. See, I got close to that enemy and it spawned its bullets around me. That's sort of what I'm trying to do some of the time. I am trying to keep my graze up so I can keep collecting the drops. Because my goal here is to get full power by the time I get to the mid-boss. It makes it way easier. And it's fun to do. Extra stages are very well paced. It's sort of just like constant action, but when you're at like no miss, no bomb territory, you're kind of looking for things to keep you entertained. Let's see here, I'll unfocus and then the enemy stays on the screen longer and I can graze more bullets. You can miss one of the enemy drops and still get full power. It's kind of designed so that you have a little bit of wiggle room. With every shot type except MRSA B. No, MRSA Alice. I think that's A, actually. MRSA Alice has like a totally different power system. Zen kind of just didn't think about it when designing this, I think, because he would have put a couple extra drops to make them work. But anyway. So Bumper Crop, the next one, has a safe spot. I don't use it because getting into it is kind of tricky, and sometimes, so the aim shots are based on your movement, but when they hit the walls, they kind of explode. That's how the like runoff is coming down. So even if you get into the safe spot, sometimes you have to like readjust to make it so that the explosions on the walls don't come into you, and micro adjusting inside the safe spot without leaving the safe spot is like really tricky. I just find it easier to do it legitimately. You're just sort of controlling aim shots and making jukes to open it up. Now these enemies they'll spawn like 3 on the middle, 3 on the right, 3 on the left, but where exactly they spawn is random. Like, you know they're going to be towards the middle, then towards the right, then the left, but where exactly is kind of... you just have to like react to it a little bit. But if you can kill them all the ones on the right in time, it's like very easy to just dodge the rest. These enemies, you can kill them or not. They're kind of trivial. Alright. So that was the stage. The entire rest of this is going to be a boss fight. That's what makes extra stages cool, is like a giant boss fight. So this is Koishi's first I died here in my shmups. Ancestors standing beside your bed. There's a safe spot to the left of the E. Also, if you just go right underneath her, I can show that off on the next loop. And you just tap dodge, go to the middle, safe spot, bottom middle. Then you go up here. Kind of teaches you not to hug the bottom middle, because the first time you do it, you stay in the bottom middle and these just kill you and you have no idea what to do or where to go. I think you're meant to go toe-to-toe with her, but there's a slight safe spot to the left. Then Maki Paranoid, I try to get a certain distance away from her, because these bullets are aimed at me, the big circular Mentos. And if I'm a certain distance away, I can tap dodge them without making the pattern uneven. And I just want to do this in as few taps as possible, because every time I move, it's very dangerous. That's just a great spell for sort of teaching people how to do aim shots and tap dodging, because there's no other way to do it. If you move fast, you hit the kunai that are spawning around you. You just have to learn how to tap dodge. Release of the id. These heart bullets are not as big as they look. What I'm trying to do is go diagonally, so I'm only dodging through one wave at a time. And looking for slightly bigger gaps to dodge through. All the while it's sort of pushing you down, like you have to keep moving up, otherwise you're gonna like get crushed to the bottom. Please don't die on this non-choice. Alright, and here's Super Ego. It's sort of looks the same as Release of the id, but it's going in the opposite direction. They're both kind of easy when you get used to them, but when you first start playing, one of these two will be way harder than the other, and I don't think there's like a consensus, it's just like based on how you as a person think. Like one of those is just inexplicably harder than the other, and it's not like everyone hates one. It's like each person kind of just has their own way of understanding or not understanding one. Yokai Polygraph is one of my favorite spell cards. So the bullets are spawning on the lasers at the same radial distance from the center as I am, meaning if I'm touching the laser, it'll spawn a bullet on top of me. And I can control where all these bullets spawn by just like moving in and out within the safe zone. So I have to keep manipulating it to make openings to dodge through. I try to make my jukes when the lasers are diagonal or horizontal or vertical. That way I can just like hold a button and make a big gap. And it's like really fun despite being like pretty easy once you learn it. Because you're just constantly moving. It's like really an interesting concept. Like not what you would first think of when you think of, oh, well that's aimed, so based on your movement. Alright, Rorschach Indanmaku. This is one of the toughest dodging spell cards. I'm trying to stay in line with her, following the enemy thing, the enemy text below. She does move quite a bit, and I'm trying to kill her before I get to the nasty waves. It's sort of RNG whether that's easy or hard. As you go on, more and more waves like overlap with each other, so you're just trying to like avoid the tough waves or get good RNG. So Koishi sort of follows you as you move. So like if I'm slightly to the left of her, when she wants to move again, she'll more likely go to the left. So I'm trying to manipulate her, go right a couple times, left a couple times, and then back to the center. And that makes this way easier because it just has these bullets which are bouncing off the walls. It kind of just keeps them in like a gridlock or easier to dodge. Once I get off route, it can kind of get crazy with diagonal bullets. Genetics of the Subconscious. She's gonna move around and spawn this like double helix shape in her wake. I'm gonna try to move around dodging it while also manipulating her. There's a sound effect, hard to hear with all the bullets spawning, and that when you hear that sound effect play, then she's gonna sort of charge your direction, and that will affect. So she kind of just bounces off the walls after that. But you get to sort of control where and how she bounces by setting up where she has to charge. You are sort of forced to loop around with the strat I do. But you sort of get used to dodging stuff from the bottom. It's like a really weird and hard thing the first time you do it. And here we get back to the left side, and we can just loop this pattern infinitely. There is actually a way to quick kill that. I don't go for it because it risks dying, and the dodges aren't that hard for me. Alright, so this first phase of Philosophy of a Hated Person is static. It's always going to make this like J shape, and if you go to the top left, she charges wherever you are, when it goes to phase 2. So I manipulate it to the top left, and she'll just make this U shape, and I can just avoid her by staying in the top and going from left to right. These bullets, it's sort of like an optical illusion. It kind of looks like they're moving diagonally, but they're only moving horizontally or vertically. They're just like both. There's like 2 layers of them. This is the toughest part on your first playthrough, I think, and it's sort of one of the tougher ones always. Just this last phase. Alright, and now the final, subterranean rows. So most extra stages have a final phase that is based off of damage. So like if I stop shooting, it will stay on this phase forever. In games other than this one, you can't cheese the final phase because Zone has special coding where it's like, hey, if you get to 30 seconds left and the boss isn't dead, just go into Berserk, hardest possible mode and just try to kill you. I'm not gonna cheese it. If you look at the top right, the timer says 99 and it's not going down. I think there's like 300 seconds, so I'd have to have had a different estimate if I wanted to time it out. So it's just easier to kill her, I find. I don't know. This is the final phase. What am I doing? So it alternates between red and blue as like the dangerous part and the safe spot. So I try to just like see, okay, the red just passed, blue is dangerous. So I look for red to try to stay on red. Now blue is safe. And you sure just have to keep in mind, I try to say it out loud, but I was commentating. So, yeah, my bad. Then we get to the plot. We finally find Suako. That wasn't the best commentary I could have done. But wow, like all these spell cards just end so fast. It's just so hard to explain anything. When it's just like, and here it is, and this is what it's, and it's gone. I have to return to the title, because for some reason my game crashes if I try to continue. Alright, I'll do another run through. Hopefully I won't die this time. I should have a timer up, probably. I have live split on this computer. I'll set it up for the next stream. Alright, anyway. Welcome everybody, I'm Zemoo, and this is my Touhou 11 extra stage, no miss, no bomb attempt. I've got enough time and estimate for a mulligan or two, but it's mainly an attempt. If I don't get the no miss, no bomb, I'll just do a no bomb clear. So yeah, we are using Reimu Yukari shot type. Each shot type has a different option and different skill, like movement skill. Yukari, if I'm on the edge of the screen, I can double tap and I will warp around, sort of like Asteroid, but only for left and right. And the option is sort of a very high damage focused needle attack. Reimu basically deals one of the second most damage in the game, and the most useful high damage shot, and has like the best skill. So that's why we're using her. She's just sort of OP. And for those of you who don't know, this is the extra stage. Most people who play Touhou sort of casually get through the main game and don't don't ever play the extra stage, and I think that's sort of a shame, because the extra stage is sort of the most unique Danmaku in most of the games, and it's sort of like, to me, that like the spirit of Touhou is just like the cool stuff, you know? It's not the hardest game, it's not the nicest looking, it's just got like a lot of interesting attacks, and a lot of them are mostly in the extra stage, which most of the, you know, touristy type people don't end up playing, so I'd like to show it off. Yeah, I'm gonna start going to the side, killing these enemies as they spawn in. We can start with 0 power, and we just have to, we're trying to get full power by the mid-boss. Nice shot. In this game, if you graze enough, so at the top of the screen is the point of collection, all the items come to you. If you graze enough in a small enough amount of time, you become the point of collection, and all the items just kind of fly to you, and you get like max point item value. So we are trying to graze, mostly because it's easier to collect the items, and the stage sort of has this thing where like if I miss some power, it might be harder to kill the enemies, and then I'll end up missing more power, and it kind of cascades. So you're definitely trying to get all the items. So you sort of have to not really score, but work on grazing a bit. It's one of my favorite parts. These enemies come down, and you have to kind of know where they are to kill them fast enough. Dude, really? And early on, you don't have enough power to like kill them fast, but later on, you just get so much power from killing them that you have to like slow down if you want to graze more. Oh my goodness, dude. If you get close enough to those enemies, their ring of bullets will spawn and not hit you unless you back up into them like an idiot. Like, if I just go right up here, I won't get hit, but their bodies do kill you, so you do have to also avoid that. I'm trying to graze to get the items, because I want the power. Like, I'm just way more used to beating the stage with the power, so when I don't have it, it's kind of hard. Hopefully see how much quicker I'm killing these enemies. Like, they barely get their shots at me towards the end, so I'm like unfocusing to get more stuff to graze. Alright. Mid-boss time. So the plot of this game is the Maria Shrine gave the Hellraven the power of the sun to make nuclear fusion, and that was not a very smart idea of them, so we found that out, and now we're going to scold them in the extra stage. So finally we get to Sunai. She doesn't know what's going on. She's sort of just a flunky, so we just gotta get through her. At the bottom of the screen is the word enemy. I'm using that to figure out where the boss is, and the more I can stay in front of the boss, the quicker I can kill her and make it easier. So I'm doing what I call typewriter movements. It's sort of just like I'm tapping a little bit and then juking to make a big spot to dodge through when I reverse. So all that's sort of aimed at you. Here's where we use the screen warp. You can dodge around without using it, but it's like way easier to just warp from one side to the next. And that's the only spot we use the screen warp in the extra stage. These enemies will spawn 3 on the middle, 3 on the right, 3 on the left. If I can kill the middle and the right, I can just sort of dodge the left. You always know where, like what side they're gonna spawn on, but it's sort of random which part of which side, so you have to like react a little to kill them in time. I kind of almost messed it up, but we got through. This part's pretty easy. If you're playing for your first time, you can bomb, and if you kill 4 of these with 1 bomb, you get a bomb's worth of power back, so it's kind of just like free bombs. We're doing a no bomb run, so we don't get to do that, but yeah, they're easy enough to dodge. Alright, now finally we're at the boss, Koishi. So Koishi is the sister of Satori, who is the stage 4 boss. She's not part of the Maria Shrine. She's kind of just here, wandering as she does. A lot of Koishi's Danmaku is sort of meant to evoke mental instability. So this one has some safe spots, and they're not where you'd expect. The first one's like right up in front of her instead of the bottom middle, so it like punishes you if you're a new player and you're like, oh, I should stay in the bottom middle of the screen. That's where I normally play bullet hell, and it just kills you. So you have to sort of just know, like, oh, mind over matter, I have to learn where to go and trust that I can go right in front of the boss, and she's not just gonna shoot a bullet and kill me. Going on with that uneasiness theme, this is Danmaku Paranoia. These kunai spawn around you, so if you just make a fast movement, you will fly into them and die. And these giant Mentos looking bullets are aimed alternating at you and away from you. So if you just slightly tap, you can not run into the kunai and also dodge the Mentos. And their hitboxes are way smaller than they look, so you just have to, like it suggests, it's paranoia. It's not actually that scary, you just have to stay calm and trust the strat and dodge it. Release of id. These alternating, these waves are coming at you sort of in this weird circular momentum, angular momentum. I dodge up diagonally, so I'm only dodging through one wave at a time. And I'm looking for bigger gaps, and it's always slightly pushing you down because that's sort of how the bullets are curving. So you do have to dodge through and go up, but you kind of have way more time than you think to like shop around for a big opening. The explosions on this sort of look like a heart. That's one of Koishi's themes, is hearts, as you could no doubt tell by the heart-shaped bullets. So this is sort of the opposite of Release of the Id. It's Suppression Superego. And it's the same pattern, but they're going the other direction, and it's forcing you up, so you have to dodge down and diagonally. When you're first playing this, one of these two patterns will be way harder than the other, and it sort of depends on the person. It's not like everyone hates this one and everyone likes the other one. It sort of just depends on who you are and how you think. But they're both kind of the same once you're at my level. Not too hard. Alright, Yokai Polygraph. So these bullets are spawning on the lasers, the 6 lasers, 8 lasers. At my radius distance from the center. So if I was to touch a laser, it would spawn a bullet on top of me. But it also means that I control where all the bullets go by my movement. So I am sort of making a big jump when there's a diagonal or horizontal in the laser to make a gap so I can cross through. There's a couple ways to do this. You can just make like a giant, slowly increasing spiral from the center. I find this easier. This is one of the coolest spell cards because it's like really easy once you know how to do it, but it's always fun because you're just like constantly required to move and keep track of where you are. And it's just like, it's like the perfect extra stage Danmaku, which is like so weird it wouldn't make sense in a normal game. But in the extra stage, really, it died to absolutely nothing. Anyway, this is Rorschach. This is one of the toughest dodging spell cards. These waves of bullets are overlapping sometimes and not others. You just gotta find the gaps and get through them when they appear. I try to do a quick kill where I like follow her to make less. Like the later it goes, the more the waves overlap. But I just try to avoid that as much as possible. Embers of Love, the even number waves, she shoots the bullets to the side, and odd number waves, she shoots them aimed at you. So I try to stay in front of her while moving her in certain directions so I can kind of control the bullets. Those trails are random and they can kill you. Sometimes you get lucky. I'm off route. But yeah, her movement is based on your position for the most part. Sometimes she'll randomly just go away from you, but she usually follows you. Hopefully I can... Wow. I got super scuffed. But eventually the bullets do leave the screen, but you do want to kill her fast, and I got off route, so whatever. Alright, genetics of the subconscious. She's gonna bounce around the screen, like she's literally bouncing off the walls like a pool ball. And she leaves this double helix in her wake. Right here, there's like a sound effect, hard to hear, but it lets you know that she's going to charge at you, and that sort of sets up the whole pattern. So there's a couple spots where she is directed by your movement, and the rest is, like I said, bouncing off the walls like a pool ball. You can just set up her entire movement pattern by just being in the right place when those two sound effects go. There's a little bit of dodging from below. You get used to it. There's probably a way to manipulate her where you don't have to do that, but I found this strat and I've stuck with it ever since. I mean, I could time this out. I mean, I think I died at the beginning of it. I definitely timed it out before. You get used to it. Alright, so Koichi disappears. There's this like pink cloud, that's her. When she intersects these bullets, they bloom into roses. Kind of looks like fireballs, but they're roses. Then she follows you when it goes to phase 2, so I always go to the top left to direct her there. And that will set up, so this phase is always the same. She's just going to make this U shape. If I made her start somewhere else, it probably would have affected her to do something else, but I just always make her make the U shape. And I go to the bottom right for the final phase. And then, fucking really, died to nothing. Then she just loops around, and you just have to be in the middle when she's near you. Because you can't pass through when the roses are in bloom. Alright, that's the toughest part for me, is the last phase of that. It's just like such a weird movement. I was doing well at it the other day. Anyway, here is the final attack. If I stop shooting, I can stay on this phase forever. There's 4 phases. Most of the Touhou games' final phase is like based on damage, so it like gets harder as you go on, but there's like usually code to stop you from cheesing it by just not shooting. This one doesn't have that, so if I just stop shooting, it would stay on whatever phase I'm on forever. Except, so the timer in the top right says 99, and it's not going down. I have like, I think it's 300 seconds. It would take a long time to time it out, so I'm just gonna shoot. And now, the other phases aren't really that much harder. So here you just have to keep track of which is the dangerous. So red is dangerous, now blue will be dangerous on this next pass, so I stick with the red. And you still have to dodge these rings, but you just have to like keep track of all this. And you can, if you kill her when the roses are around you, you kind of get stuck, so it sometimes makes sense to stop shooting so you don't wall yourself on the last second. But if you just stay high enough, you can avoid that. Hey Closor, what's up? What are we hitting? Yeah, that was me. I'm doing a Shmuptember, like a marathon run this weekend. Going for a no miss, no bomb. Practicing my commentary, because I haven't been doing that. It's so hard, because everything goes by so fast. Maybe I'll just only talk about the super interesting stuff and not talk about the uninteresting stuff. But I think it's all interesting, so I don't know. That being said, I don't have a ton of time tonight, so I'm gonna be done this for now. I will be practicing this all week, so I will be back tomorrow. Maybe I should do like one run of commentary, one run of just like practice, and like alternate. Don't know why, but tonight I just like didn't get to stream till super late, so I kind of didn't have a ton of time. I need to just like get home from work tomorrow and just start streaming. So I can do a bunch of runs. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I will be back tomorrow, and